On January 26th, Nintendo World Report will be hosting our 9th charity live stream to support Child's Play starting at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. The more you donate, the longer we stream, with over 12 hours of content available if we can hit our goal of $4,000. Donations are open now, so don't wait. Donate now so you don't forget. For more information and to donate, click the link in the description. And don't forget to join us here on NWR TV on January 26th for the all-day stream. Alright, now back to the video.
Stars on the wall. Wonder when the next one will fall.
Y2K, a postmodern RPG, is an indie game that has been long in development, and whenever I've seen it before its launch, I've always been immediately taken by its style. Made by New Jersey-based Aack Studios, the otherworldly setup follows hipstery young adults at the cusp of the new millennium, searching for lost kids in a world colored by subtle references to the bizarre, weird New Jersey subculture of suburban legends. The hook drew me in, especially with its heavy inspirations from my home state's quirks, during an era that I remember well, in addition to the clear JRPG influences from games like EarthBound, Shin Megami Tensei, and even some more offbeat stuff like Shadow Hearts. Y2K occasionally stumbles throughout its own promise, but it's one of the most ambitious indie RPGs that I've ever played, and thanks to an enthralling style and good mixture of story, combat, and exploration, it made for an enjoyable journey with a few tolerable speed bumps. An array of EarthBound related reference points could be used to summarize Y2K. Hipster EarthBound is what I first dubbed it to friends initially, but the deeper I got, I settled on nihilistic EarthBound. Compared to the more hopeful, upbeat tone of Nintendo's classic slice-of-life RPG, Y2K is thoroughly depressing. The world is run down, and every non-playable character seems to have a scowl. In a way, it's a quintessential depiction of New Jersey that comes from a place of experiencing how perpetually angry everyone in the state actually is. Whereas EarthBound draws from an idealistic view of American culture, Y2K pulls from the cynical, realer side of it. Your party of teens and 20-somethings all have baggage weighing them down, usually centered around how people close to them disappeared and no one around them cares about it. In the world of Y2K, everyone is adrift, clinging to a hope that answers are somewhere out there. It's all weirdly poignant given the state of America right now. And then the postmodern subtitle becomes more dominant, and the game takes some out-there left turns that, while often overwrought, help color in the dreary world with mystery and charm. The story is very much in your face, making up a majority of the game. The hero is Alex, a plaid shirt wearing college grad hipster who comes home and stumbles into a building where he meets the mysterious woman Sammy. After witnessing her being taken away by creatures in an elevator, he is shaken and determined to figure out just what exactly in the hell is going on. That leads him on a trippy quest where he ends up engaging with an online message board about weird occurrences in the area and meeting up with a cast of seeming suburban shiftless layabouts. The dialogue is often heavy-handed, overloaded by baffling exposition and weird digressions. Early on, it gets weighed down by too many winking gags, most notably overburdened references to the developers' past games, and several pop culture joke detours that outstay their welcome. Some of these gags do work out, like the side quests being operated via threads on a fake late 90s message board. Even if the story can sometimes be a little much, the core thread and mystery is interesting when you get past the referential and expository fluff. A whole lot more gets revealed over the course of the journey, and the back half starts to coalesce into something a lot better, weirder, and way more interesting. Y2K finds its own engaging path as it concludes. Going into much more detail would lessen the punch of the final hours, but the fact I satisfyingly watched the credits roll at 1 AM after planning to stop hours before speaks volumes. The combat and exploration are other featured pillars next to the narrative. The turn-based combat is heavily timing-based, with a relatively steep learning curve. However, once you grasp the specific timing of each character's attacks, specials, and defense, the battles get way more thrilling. Most characters have relatively simple rhythm minigames to play, where they're just holding a button down, releasing with proper timing, or a few prompted button presses. Main character Alex's basic attack is a finicky vinyl record-inspired one, where you have to mash a button during specific intervals to get a large combo. Considering it's the attack you will likely do the most across the course of the game, the fact that it's consistently difficult makes it frustrating, especially really early on. You do earn the ability to slow down time to help out with your timing, but it can still be maddening. Regardless, the difference between flawlessly nailing attacks and messing them up is slim. Unless you completely flub the minigame, the difference in damage is usually very slight. It just feels off when you nail a powerful 25-hit combo with Alex's vinyl attack, and it barely does more damage than a pedestrian 8-hit combo. I still enjoy the combat system despite these issues, though, and while the battles generally run long, they're paced well throughout, save a few stretches where combat becomes too much of the focus. Dungeons pop up regularly, and the story usually takes a little bit of a backseat during these portions as light environmental puzzles, battles, and other obstacles appear. Various abilities, ranging from a cat that can be thrown like a boomerang to hit switches or collect items, to a hair whip move that cuts down trees, can be used to work your way through these areas to find a way forward or unlock secrets. The early puzzles are generally simple, but later ones start to get more ingenious and enjoyable, helping to add a lot of variety to the gameplay. Y2K handles leveling up in a very weird way. The first hour or so, you earn experience points but never level up. It isn't until a certain point in the story where you can enter the mine dungeon at save points. Alex can be leveled up by walking through a dungeon where you talk to a bird and pick bonuses for your stats with every level. To level up other party members, you just have to go to a place where you have a dialogue prompt to encourage them. And then when you encourage them in the mine dungeon, that levels them up automatically. The system is kind of confusing at first, but is totally fine once you wrap your mind around it. However, a major drawback to the concept of the mine dungeon is that it requires multiple loading screens to access. Y2K, specifically on Switch, has a major problem with load times, as entering new areas and battles all consistently take 5 to 10 seconds at a minimum. If that happened rarely, it wouldn't be that bad, but loading happens frequently and dramatically slows down everything. Aside from the loading, the game is totally fine technically. The art style looks great in motion, even more so when complemented by the catchy and ethereal soundtrack, which has several brilliant and endearing tracks, including music from Toby Fox of Undertale fame and Hiroki Kakuta of Secret of Mana fame. The overworld themes and battle music all help accent the eerie style. The vibe is so very, very strong with Y2K. I truly like a whole lot about Y2K, mostly its distinctive style and noble attempts at timing-based RPG combat. The experience might be muddied by a few rougher edges, like the consistently grating load times and some of the discomforting battle quirks, but more often than not, I came away impressed by how well everything came together in spite of some issues. The ambition and scope of this lengthy indie epic is impressive, taking big swings and, despite the numerous inspirations, carving its own distinct path. If you want your Japanese-style RPG to do to New Jersey what Shin Megami Tensei does to Tokyo, then Y2K is the closest you'll ever get. And the story and combat and the world all coalesce into something really special on Switch, despite, some technical issues. If you enjoyed what you heard here, then go check out Y2K, a postmodern RPG. It's going to be on Switch either very soon or right now. And if you want to see more content from us here at Nintendo World Report, be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel. You can also check us out at NintendoWorldReport.com, and we have a Patreon. If you want to support us so that way we can do more cool stuff like this, do that over at patreon.com/NWR. Thank you so very much for listening and or watching or however you do this. Go and find your mine dungeon and play your favorite RPG. Hopefully it's Y2K. Bye.